This is the Permanent Municipal Building Committee meeting of December 9th. We are meeting on a Zoom meeting. We're going to be doing a call to order at 7:02. The first order of business is the warrant. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 items on the warrant.
Steve, do you do a roll call first?
Probably a good idea. Okay. So let me do this. Since I know who's on the phone, I'm going to call your name and you can say A or, you can say here.
Okay.
Say Bob Romilly.
Yeah.
Rich Crowley.
Present. Yes, here.
Tamerlan.
Here.
Steve Moore. Here. Anyone that I missed?
Bartlett.
Oh, Martin.
Bartlett.
Oh, Bartlett.
Yeah.
And Brian
Great.
Pasquale.
And Brian.
And
Okay.
Brian.
Yeah, I'm here as well.
Sorry about that. I can't see my screen since I have the agenda up.
I think Mark Rumbacher and Brian Pasquale are here too.
He was doing a members call.
So,
Okay.
okay. We have the warrant for this evening. The first item is Johnson & Roberts for, let's see, this is the library. It's their September invoice in the amount of $21,813.80. Another Johnson & Roberts is their November invoice for the library in the amount of $20,315.04. Then we have the Vertex Company's invoice for the library for November, $28,450. Vertex for the library September invoice in the amount of $24,690. We have the Vertex Company's invoice for November for the police station, $675. Vertex again for September for the police station, $2,835. We have Fitzmyer and Tochi for the library. They're a testing agency, $522.50. And Project Dog for the police station. They're the eBid document system, $975. For a total of $100,276.34. Is there any discussion?
Steve, were these fully vetted and reviewed by the project manager?
Both the project managers and myself, yes.
Wonderful.
One correction is the Fitzmyer-Tachi invoice. That's actually the commissioning agent for the library.
Oh, commissioning. Okay, I thought they were testing. Yeah. Okay.
Great. Well, do you need a motion?
Yes, a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
So Rich Crowley moved.
I'll second it. Bob Romilly.
All in favor?
Bob Romilly, yes. Bartlett, yes.
And Richard Crowley, yes.
Tamerlan Rossius, yes.
Brian Pasquale, yes.
And Steve Moore, yes. Okay.
I just had a quick follow-up, Steve, for Brian on the Fitzmyer and Tachi bill. What are they doing yet on commissioning? Is that just like a submittal review portion of their scope or something?
Exactly. So all MEPs on this project, we've got them for MEP commissioning. So currently right now they are reviewing all of them. And then also we had our kickoff meeting this month. So Fitzmyer-Tachi's project manager had a Zoom meeting with all the subcontractors and the general contractor and encouraged all of them to start sending in, even if they're not complete, some of their startup manuals and also their O&M manuals to start the process of getting those done.
Gotcha.
Okay. Question, Steve?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Is this project being done with the aid of BIM management?
Yes.
Yes, the contractor is using it.
Excellent.
It was actually,
that-
it was a requirement based in the specifications. So every week they have a BIM meeting with their BIM coordinator, and all
Great.
the subcontractors need to coordinate with that.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, any other comments?
No,
Okay. Not sure if we voted on that. Marilyn,
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
yeah,
Okay.
we voted
Yeah.
on the warrant. Yeah.
Okay. We go to the meeting minutes. This is an error of October 28th. It should be November 10th. And they were amended to include the fire station or the police department. Are there
Yes.
any other comments?
Steve, I got one, it just a grammatic error there. Brian, it says Brian angled that down in the library update. It's talking about the next door neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
There's a word missing out of it, that's all. And we were talking about the light.
Yep. Angle the light down.
Yeah.
Yep.
It sounds
Okay.
like Brian's gonna do it.
Well, I think he directed the contractor to do it.
He was gonna ask, in the conversation we had, he was gonna ask the contractor to do it. Other than
Right.
that, I make a motion that we accept the minute meetings.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Bob Romley, yes.
Bartlett, yes.
Simon Rossius, yes.
Richard Crowley, yes.
Steve Moore, yes.
Brian
All right.
Pasquale, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Lib-
gentlemen, if you can turn your cameras on, please.
My camera doesn't work.
All right, thank you, Bartlett. How about you, Brian?
I can't. I'm in the car at the moment,
All
so
right,
I
all right.
cannot. Sorry.
That's the reason why your chair is not able to get you in your roll call.
Gotcha.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Library update, Brian.
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's been a pretty good month. I know it's getting cold right now, but we did get some good progress at the site. We've continued on our steel detailing and erecting of the steel structure, including the decking, as well as the detailing that's being inspected right now by our third-party tester. The site work by Cataldo is ongoing right now. They've begun prepping the driveway coming into the job site, as well as prepping the parking lot. They're keeping an eye on the weather, but the best case scenario is if we get a good stretch of weather, that they'd be able to put the binder down for the parking lot. All utilities and infiltration systems have been done underneath the parking lot, so it's ready for binder at this time. The contract is also scheduled to have our slab on deck 1 week from today. So they're ongoing welding the Nelson studs in, and barring any nasty weather, we'd be on schedule to pour that a week from today, and then the contractor would continue with getting the building as tight as possible so that they can begin their interior partitions. The concrete sub was on site today. They're prepping some of the exterior retaining walls and stairs. So as of right now, things are going well. And I have been in talk with the contractor. I spoke with Steve and Mark a couple weeks back about putting together almost a cost to complete and schedule analysis. And I hope to do that as we get maybe right after the holidays to start getting a little deeper into the weeds on where we sit financially, and we can forecast where we'll sit with our contingency at the end of the project.
Thanks, Brian. Where are we with the tree removal?
I asked at our project meeting on Monday, and Cataldo has intentions of taking this down before the holidays. So Commodore promised me that they would let me know with as much time in advance so that we can notify the neighbor, as well as notify Littleton Light in case the wires need to be wrapped for safety for the guys that are going to be taking the tree down. The last time Bob and I were out there, we saw the wires that were up there were not
power lines. They were communication lines.
Okay.
Are there power lines there?
I think there's power lines
Way up.
way up coming that direction. I think that's where it stops. I could be wrong there.
Yeah, they stop at the tree. I didn't think Littleton Electric would install them from the existing pole to the new pole unless the tree came down.
Correct.
Okay.
That's where I have it. So in order to, they would want to get the ones protected down the street a little bit in case they were coming from that area with their cherry picker.
Right. Okay.
Question for Brian. When you're through, Steve.
Go ahead.
Brian, slab on deck. You said it's next week. Are they? Is this slab have rebar in it, or does it have wire mesh?
It has wire mesh and as well as shear studs. So the shear studs get welded right directly to the frame.
Yeah.
And our third-party inspector goes through, and depending on what the statement of inspections is on this job, they'll do weld tests on those, whether if it's with a 5-pound hammer to make sure that the welding is adequate in those spots.
Good. Now, my question is, will they be using slab bolsters to maintain the separation that the wire mesh needs to be between the metal deck and the surface of the concrete?
Yeah, they'll be using a fastened chair.
Okay, good. So that'll maintain the proper depth.
Correct.
Good.
Yep. Yeah,
And,
on these jobs, we don't, I actually, it's a sticking point with me too. I actually don't like to see the mechanics as they're pouring it, lifting it up as it's pouring, because that never gives you the correct depth that you
they
need.
can't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. It puts it in the wrong spot.
Yep.
Right.
And for cutting,
Saw cuts?
for saw cutting, are you pinwheeling? What I recommend is pinwheeling.
Yep.
Come off of each corner, and you go straight from each corner of the columns,
Columns, correct.
rather
Right.
than center columns, because you'll have less chance of cracking.
And that's what we did on the first floor. So we'd be doing the same exercise depending on where the columns are on the second deck.
Okay. All your penetrations are in by your various slabs, by your various subs.
Yes, we have all our penetrations, including, and this would be for LCTV. We put in some extra raceways going from what I believe is the IT cabinet up to the second floor as well. So we've got the amount of penetrations that we need. So try to mitigate any type of coring that happens after.
Good. So if they have poke throughs, they're in now.
Correct.
Good. Thank
So
you.
Brian, when you say, are you referring to room 112 when you talk about the cabinet?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And
And
I'm sorry, I was misspeaking. I believe it's coming from 112 to our IT room.
Right, thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
And then Brian,
Wish you
Kirby
luck
sent
with the
you an
weather.
email this morning. I see you responded to that.
Yep.
Regarding a coordination meeting.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, I'll make sure I set that up, but the more that I can have the guys talk in person with me there, not trying to, some of that stuff I don't understand, so it's better off having the engineer and Kirby talk about it. So.
Just Legos.
Yeah, that's how I look at a building. The AV portion of it is always a little confusing for me.
Okay, great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Anything else on library?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, the police station. Brian, you want to give us an update?
Sure. Just one thing on the library as well. Colors are starting to roll in, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I know that Sam and Mark have been working with, I believe it's Cheryl at the library as well, putting together some schemes and colors, and there'll be a kind of a color board. So maybe one of these next few meetings I can have something to show with maybe some of the renderings and colors that are going to look like on the inside.
That's great.
Cool.
Okay,
And then-
police station.
As for the police station, we did have some movement since our last meeting. We met with the waterproofing company and the architect on site. with Steve and the chief. And we had some samples brought up, and we actually put the physical samples on the side of the building.
And just to be clear, the waterproofing company is the name of the contractor. It
Yeah,
has
it's
nothing
true.
to do with waterproofing.
Right, right. But the architect's name is not the architect. It's actually CBI. So,
Right.
so we selected a stone that's going to look nice with the facade of the building once it gets cleaned. And so the contractor is going back and is going to advise on how long the lead times are going to be. And then they're going to put a mock-up together in their shop, to which at that point we can do either a field trip to take a look at it, or they will bring it out to the site once the weather starts clearing up, so that us collectively as a committee can take a look at how the mock-up's going to look. There will be in the coming weeks a decision that we'll have to make, Stephen. It's very new right now, so I don't have all the information, but knowing that the town will most likely be pursuing phase 2 of this project, do we want to consider buying all the material in phase 1, because we could streamline the one source that we're getting the material from, whereas in phase 2 we may still have to put equivalents or equals in the spec for what's being bid on for phase 2.
So then in the bid documents, we would have to say materials by owner.
Correct. And at this point, we would also be having to pay for a change order in phase 1, so that they would pay for some of the material that would be installed for phase 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I think we can talk about it, and I think it's also, it could be, depending on when we do go out to bid for this, it could be a decision that's made once we have an idea of whether the contractor is going to stay the same or whether it's not.
That certainly makes sense, Steve.
It does, but depends on the lead time on the materials and when we
Correct.
put the contract out for bid. Do you have any idea when the bid documents are going to be available?
Yeah, I talked to Arno, and he said that he's well far along on them. So he had a few more things he wanted to go through and comb through it to make sure that there wasn't any lingering scope from phase 1. But I'll check in with him the end of this week to see when we could get something in hand. And then at that point, once I review it, we can set the schedule for when we think that's going to be ready to go out to bid.
Yeah, we might almost have to put something in the bid documents that, an ad alternate to provide material, say that the owner will provide materials, but if in the event that they don't, an ad alternate to provide them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now that won't bust the budget, will it?
No, it shouldn't.
No, it if anything, it might actually help it, but it would be an accounting issue from the town where we would be taking phase 2 appropriations and pushing it over to phase 1.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
same project though.
Right.
Perfect.
Yep.
Hey, Steve, I got a question. I was at the firehouse the other day, and they have the same oak trim around the windows, and it was the same architect that did both buildings.
Correct. Yep.
Do we want to even entertain checking out the fire department's building to make sure the flashing was done right?
So you've moved right into member input, right?
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
Let's hold that until we're finished the police station.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else, Brian?
At this time, no.
Okay, so go ahead, Rich. I mean,
So
Brian was the OPM on that.
Yeah,
project.
I can't speak to the installation on the police station. I know that as a town, we've spent quite a bit of money doing some destructive testing and seeing how that installation was.
Yeah.
But as for the fire department, I can go back. I probably even have pictures of how the windows were installed and how the flashing was done with the trim, how the envelope attached with the trim.
So
That
Rich,
was all done right on site.
even though the architect was the same, the contractor was different. And, it's all in the installation.
Really was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay. I'm good.
Okay. Bob, any member input?
I'm all set, thanks.
Brian Pasquale?
I'm all set. Thank you, Steve.
Okay. Timmerling?
I'm all set, thank you.
Bartlett?
I'm all set, thanks.
And Steve Moore, I'm all set. So, if there's no more,
Next meeting, the 23rd, Steve?
oh yeah, let's talk about that. Do we want to, if, the contractor didn't get his invoice in for this warrant, so that means the invoice will be available next week if we wanted to have a short special meeting, if we don't want to meet the week of Christmas.
Yeah, I don't want to force anybody and enforce people's schedules, but I know that, their November requisition was a little slow to get to us. I provided my comments to Johnson Roberts. That's going back to them probably tonight. I assume I'll probably get a final requisition by the end of the week. But I'm sure that they'll be calling if this goes past the new year without getting paid. So that was just my only question.
So
Yeah,
it's up to the committee. I mean, if you want to meet the 23rd, that's fine with me. But if you want to do it a week early and just a special meeting for invoice approval, I mean,
Brian, would everything be ready to go for next Wednesday?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can make sure of that. Yes.
Then, I don't know, it wouldn't bother me to meet next Wednesday and clear everything up.
I'm
Yeah.
available.
Same here.
Okay. Any objections?
Either way is fine with me as well.
As long as we have cable television provided.
You always have cable television.
I hear a Kirby in the background.
No, really? Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll wait till the conversation thinned out.
Steve, you need it in the form of a motion, or you just want to change the meeting date?
Steve, you're muted.
Your headset's not on, Steve.
Sorry about that.
Shut himself off.
I did. Do I have a motion to move the next meeting to December 16th?
I'll
You can
second
do
it.
that on your own, Steve. As chair, you get to do that.
Well, okay. Well,
I'll make a motion to move it, the next meeting to December 16th.
okay.
I'll second it, Bob Romley.
All in favor?
Timlin Rossius, yes.
Bob Romley, yes.
Bartlett, yes.
Rich Crowley, yes.
And Steve Moore, yes. Okay, so the
Brian
next,
Pasquale, yes.
next meeting will be December 16th. And any other discussion? Well, thanks so much for your attendance, and we'll talk to you next week.
Great.
Thank you.
Motion to
Thanks.
adjourn.
Second,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Always forget that. All in favor?
Bob Romley, yes.
Timlin Rossius, yes.
Bartlett, yes.
Rich Crowley, yes.
And Steve Moore, yes. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.